As darkness continued to envelop Nanjing, a glimmer of hope began to shine through in the form of the Nanjing Safety Zone. This enclave, a mere 1.5 square miles in size, was a last-ditch effort at preserving life amid the unrestrained chaos, a space in which anyone who found their way to it would largely be left alone by the Japanese. Though small, establishing and preserving the zone was a Herculean task, and one that was only achieved through the bravery and cooperation of a select group of individuals who dared to stand their ground when all seemed lost. Chief among these was John Rabe, the German expatriate businessman, the very same John Rabe whose testimony we looked at earlier in the video. Rabe was a card-carrying Nazi, and ironically his uniform and party membership book, normally implements of hate, became the very tools he needed to set about saving as many Chinese lives as he could. For you see, despite the wicked ideology that had taken hold of his mind, Rabe had grown quite fond of the Chinese after years of hospitality in their country, and he would be damned if he was going to stand around and do nothing as they were killed around him. His strategy? Donning his Nazi uniform and waving his party membership book in the face of any Japanese soldier he could get his hands on. This bold strategy worked, and Rabe soon negotiated the establishment of the safety zone and secured reassurances that the Japanese would honor it. One of the people he saved, Li Wei, a schoolteacher in her early 30s, spoke of her experiences, describing how she lost her home and all her belongings to the Japanese onslaught, but after dodging Japanese bullets along with her elderly mother and young niece, she found safety in the zone. Conditions were cramped, with Rabe packing people into every square foot of space he had available, and they were squalid, with Rabe struggling to find enough supplies to properly care for everyone in his custody. But they were safe, and Li Wei and her family went on to survive the massacre, never having to be subjected to any of the horrors that we discussed earlier in the video. All in all, Li Wei was just one of an estimated 300,000 people who were saved by being crammed into the zone by Rabe, a truly monumental achievement, and one that undoubtedly makes Rabe one of history's greatest ever humanitarians. The irony of him doing this while being a devout Nazi has not been lost on historians, and now, over 85 years later, they still struggle to explain this dichotomy. The massacre finally came to an end in late January 1938, at which point the foul horrors we examined in this video had been underway for 6 weeks. We ultimately don't know for certain how many people perished, but it's generally accepted that the figure's around 300,000. To break this figure down in a way that our minds can better appreciate, this equates to around 300 people an hour, every hour, for the full duration of the massacre. As for rapes, due to the issue around trauma and culture that we mentioned earlier, it's all but impossible to arrive at a final figure, but one can extrapolate out what we learned earlier and quickly realize that the figure, whatever it is nothing short of horrendous. Today, the pain and horror of those dark weeks lives on in the collective memory of the Chinese people and is commemorated through several memorials across China, most prominently at the Nanjing Massacre Memorial Hall. Positioned near a mass grave, known as the Pit of 10,000 Corpses, this solemn space serves not only as a reminder of the anguish and savagery endured, but also as a staunch sentinel against the erasure or diminishment of historical truths, ensuring that the victims are remembered and the atrocities are never repeated.